Hello and welcome to Music Theory Tips and Tricks with Dr. Bush. So, if you haven't figured out, I'm Dr. Bush, and we are going to work on some analysis today. So, for my students that have been asking, I thought it might be kind of, more personable for me to have my face in the video, like in a little corner, like a let's player. Let's analyze. I'm a let's analyzer. Yeah, okay, let's run with it. So, I have my handy dandy little iPad, so if I'm looking down in the video, then that is what I am looking at. I have specifically not analyzed this piece. So whenever I do one of these videos, I like to try to come into it clean so that you're watching my analytical process as well as trying it on your own. And so we're going to do a little bit of practice with analysis, and then please feel free to check out the other videos for practice with other topics. So let's switch over to looking at I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing. Did you know that this was copyrighted by the Coca-Cola Company? If I scroll down to the bottom, 1971, the Coca-Cola Company. I didn't know that they owned music, but I guess that makes sense. Don't strike me, by the way, because I'm not making money off of this. It's for education. Okay, so as I'm scanning through the piece, I hope that it's very obvious to everybody what key we are in. Everybody all together, we are in the key of F major. Beautiful. So let's start off with that label in the opening. Now I got an FAC, could not be any more obvious of a 1 chord before going to an FAC with a C in the bottom. So what type of 6/4 chord is this? Exactly, this is an arpeggiated 6/4. A little bit harder to see because it's not arpeggiating the entire chord, but as you can see, it's kind of doing a going back and forth walking bass kind of deal. And so that is what we want to draw attention to. This is not a different sonority for the rest of this measure. It's just in a different shape, and I think it's happening enough and strongly enough. It is on the strong beats. It's really freaking me out that this is in reverse because cameras go in reverse. Okay, sorry. But anyway, that is why we would like to add an analytical symbol to that point. So arp, 6/4, and 1. Okay, so now we're looking here, and I see a G, a B, a D, an F, and a whole mess of other junk that is getting in my way. Now, if you see a GBDF chord in the key of F major, notice that it is a B natural, not a B flat. That should automatically set off alarm bells in your head for what could possibly be happening here. For one thing, if we're changing the B from a B flat to a B natural, that should give you a pretty big clue of what key we're going toward, and this is one of the most typical moves, of course, to do in any type of movement of key in music in the West. So, G7 is the 5/7 of, yes, 5/7 of C. So the thing when I see a chord like this is I automatically want to jump forward and see if I can find its resolution. Is there a C? Look at that. There is a C major triad right here. So this is kind of jumping the gun a little bit for where my students are currently right this second. But I would say, no, it's confirmed. Well, it's really not long enough to be a modulation, and it doesn't stay there. It pretty much goes immediately back, right? No, it does not. Oh, no, wait. Yep, it does, because we're back in F by the time we get to here. I saw this, and I thought for a second we might be staying in the key of C, but there are B flats. And if there are B flats, we cannot be in the key of C. All right. So I think I'm just going to do this. It's a temporary tonicization. I don't need a pivot because it's not modulating. Perfect. So this is going to be a series of chords that are in the key of C. So just like we can have secondary dominance that is just the secondary dominant and then resolving to the chord after it, we can have a few of those in a row. So this is a 5/7 of 5 in root position, which makes it more easy, makes it more easier, like in English. And then it jumps down to a 5/4/3 of 5. What violation of harmonic syntax is that? Sorry. Okay. Yes, you cannot have an inversion of 7 go to an inversion of 5, but this is a piece of 20th century music, which means no rules. Okay, so then we go back to that G7. G in the bass again. So 5, 7 of 5. Sorry about the screen kind of flipping. Also, sorry about the fact that I'm purple, but my grow lights for my office plant are right there. And I guess I need to bring in my streaming / recording lights. I'll do that at some point. Okay. And then it goes to a 7, 6, 5. So remember that 7 chords built on scale degree 7 in a major key, as long as there are no accidentals, which in this case there is an accidental, but the accidental is putting us into the key of C. So 7 in the key of C, this trick would still work. If you build a 7th chord on scale degree 7 in a major key and there are no accidentals, that is always going to be a half diminished 7th chord. That's what exists natively. So this is 7 half diminished. It's not in root position. There we go. 7 half diminished 6, 5 of 5 before it resolves to 5. So all of this is just leading us to this C chord right here, which is giving us, it's not really giving us a half cadence because that's a jump in to the next phrase. So that grow apple trees and honeybees thing, we wouldn't have a cadence happening there. It looks a little bit like it should be because then it stays on the dominant. Well, it does stay on the dominant for a while, doesn't it? C, E, G. Oh, that, okay. So now it's an ARP 6, 4 for the 5 chord. I suppose I need to see how it goes back. I'm still pretty convinced that this is a temporary tonicization, not a modulation, but I haven't looked at the entire thing and I need to reserve judgment until we get to the very end. Okay, before going to a B flat D F chord. Yeah, it doesn't change to enough because there's an A. So if I've got an arpeggiated 6, 4 going to A and E, and I did have the implied C for a long time. I mean, technically, yeah. Well, we have it just as a tonic substitution chord. I think we can get away with that. Perfect. Before going to a, which makes this work. It's kind of the way that analysis works. We got to try to restructure how we're thinking in order to make it fit in the side of the piece. One of the common misconceptions of analysis is that there is a right answer and a wrong answer. No, there is an agreed upon opinion and a not agreed upon opinion, and that's it. Kind of the secret of music theory. So people that are out there and saying it's this way, it's this way, it's this way. No, it's that way for them. That might be the agreed upon way in the academic music theory community, but it's not about right and wrong. It's about what you see versus what you do not see. Okay. As we're coming off of a C triad. Get it? All right. So then I've got a B flat D F. So it's going to be a major 4. I think the G is a neighbor tone. We're going to a B flat D F again. So we just hang out on that 4. Before going to a 5, C, E, G. Is there a B flat in here? There is. So this is a 5, 7. Now this is looking much more credential. And then we've just got stepwise motion leading us back down to the 1 chord. If I really wanted to get picky about it, I could recall this a, the B is being sustained, so I just hang out on the 5, 7 there. So before going to a 1 chord and then going back to the ARP 6, 4. My goodness, it's almost like they are following a pattern. 4, 1, 4, ARP 6, 4. Before going to, my God, they are repeating the pattern. We're going to a 5, 7 of 5. We're going to a 5, 6, 5 of 5. Before going back to that 5, 7 of 5, and then it does the same thing, scalar stepwise motion down to that 5, and then an ARP 6, 4, and then 5. Yeah, the only reason I really can't say that it modulates is happening in the middle of a phrase. That doesn't feel like a stopping point. That feels like color. Tonicization is color, modulation is key change. Yeah, I'm gonna run with that. So then more 5 does do that resolution to the 3 here like it did before. C, G's are B flat. There is no B flat. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, just call that a 5 just for my OCD. And then it goes to the major 4 again, and stays on the major 4 before going to a 1 chord this time. And really reiterating that 1, you can see it's outlining that beginning part of the triad here. And so now I'm assuming we're going to stay in that 1 since we're leading to a double bar. When we are going toward the end of a piece, you're not going to want to all of a sudden have a bunch of key changes if you want your piece to feel like it's whatever key that it's in. If something is in F major, it needs to feel like it's in F major. Feels like it should go without saying, but it's a concept that we kind of tend to lose sight of a little bit. We're going to the ARP 6/4. We're going back to 1 before going back to ARP 6/4. So this is another 5/7 of 5 that goes to a 5/6/5 of 5. I'm assuming this is going to start to get shortened a little bit, and look at that, it does. 5/6/5 of 5. 5/7 of 5, which again, naughty, should not do that, but whatever. CEG, so then we have another ARP 6/4 that resolves back to 5 over here. And we say that. And CEG, before going to 3, go 4. My goodness, it holds the same pattern. Who'd have thunk? 4, 4, and no. No way. Yes, way. It ends without a 5 chord. All right, whatever. You do you. It ends in a plagal cadence. It ends in a plagal cadence. It is a piece of marketing for the Coca-Cola company, and it ends in the amen cadence. Oh, there's something sinister there. Anywho, I hope that gave you some practice with analysis. Please check out the other videos if you're interested. I'm going to be trying to making, I can English. I'm going to be trying to make more of these as much as I can, but if there's something in particular that you would like to work on, clackety clack, send me an email, send me a message, leave a like, leave a hate, leave a thumbs up. I don't know. What are the things people do for YouTube? I'm hip with the kids. Yo, what? Adios.